Hello everyone, it is Erin Floto here, and I am here migrating from December into January, which is a big migration for me, because not only are we migrating into a new year, we're migrating into my first time in a new notebook with a newborn. We are moving from one notebook to another. It's a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. I'm very much exaggerating, but at the same time, it is like kind of a process to migrate from one to the other. So I am migrating very early this month. We are on the 10th. But because of the newborn, everyone and their mother is visiting us at the house. And so I don't have a lot of time to sit down to myself and try to figure this out. So I am doing it very early. So let's talk about it. So December, again, very much a whirlwind of a month so far. And then I did realize that I messed up my calendar. I put too many spaces in my calendar, which is super fun. We love when that happens, but it is what it is. So we have my January spread. We have the monthly calendar. We have the habit tracker. We have the brain dump. We have the spark list. And then I am going to be adding some new pages regarding, well, one, Bryson, and overall tracking. I still am trying to figure out the best way for me to track things with him. So in December, I put together this makeshift page for him, which has all of the stats that I track in Huckleberry, which is an app where you can track things for newborns. So the amount of hours he slept, his feeding, his pumping, his diaper, etc. So I do have this set up. I will probably do something a bit similar, but not quite, because I don't want to track anything that, like, I'm not logging throughout the day, right? I kind of want to log a summary of the day because I do use that app. And so I feel like that would be a lot of extra data entry type stuff for me personally. And I'm not getting into my notebook quite as easily as before. It's just not the reality of the situation right now. So I do want to do something newborn related, and it will probably be a summary. But I'm thinking maybe instead of putting the stats, like for sleeping, I would put like blank to blank hours, like 8 to 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours, 12 to 14, right? And then do maybe more of a color code instead. And then feeding, I don't think I want to track feeding in this way. For me, these numbers are kind of meaningless because I mean, I'm following my doctor's advice on what the amount he's eating and things like that. He has been gaining weight, which is healthy. So, but these numbers are meaningless to me because, especially with how things will change, like his 6-week mark, right around there, he's supposed to go through a growth spurt. Yeah. What's up, puppy? He's supposed to go through a growth spurt. So he might be cluster feeding, and so he'll be eating even more than he's eating now. So I think I want to address that in a different way. And then pumping, as long as I have enough for him, I don't think I want to track pumping. And then diaper, I do kind of want to continue to track, and then track it maybe in a different way, like what type of diaper situation was it. So I think these two are the ones that I'm really going to be doing. I could also do feeding and do the same thing with like kind of the color code. Still trying to debate that. But that is definitely going to be a one-page thing in this notebook. So I know I want that. So like I said, we have this calendar page. Beautiful, lovely. Love her. We have my habit tracker. So this is things for me that I need to do. We have the brain dump, which is going to be my master task list that I am using over here. This spark list is meant to be for things that are like ideas that kind of spark my interest and spark my creativity. I got that idea from Joshi Corinne. So that is for that one. Then we're going to have the Bryson page over here. And then I kind of need to figure out if I'm going to do a quote page, because I haven't done a quote page in 8 million years in my notebook. So that would kind of be nice. Or if I need something a little bit more, like I need to track something else. So that's what I'm going to try to be deciding today as well. Hello everyone. So I had to stop abruptly before because of baby, and then you know, it's just a lot. So I mentioned this before, we have a bunch of family coming in, so I'm able to work at little stretches at a time, but I'm not really able to just sit there and film a whole video, do a whole edit, do a whole spread anymore. That's not the reality of the situation. So here's a little speed through of what I worked on in between the intro video where I kind of talked about my plans, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a synopsis of everything that I did in this video and my thought process going forward. So here we have Bryson's page. So I thought about things a little bit more from the first video to this, because this was filmed a couple of days later. And I'm still not sure of anything, to be honest with you, but I'm still not sure what is really something that I think is necessary in my brain, especially because if I'm tracking some of his statistics, a lot of his statistics are going to change as he gets bigger. So, for example, during this month is when he will reach his 6-week mark. And in the 6th week, a lot of things change. He does, well, I don't know this for sure, but theoretically, a lot of babies do cluster feedings. They have a lot of like a growth spurt and all this kind of stuff. So he'll probably be eating more. He will probably not be sleeping quite as much because he will be a little bit fussier. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on that like I can't really anticipate at the current moment. So one of the things that I want to do is kind of do benchmarks, I think, and I talk about this a little bit afterwards. So I figured that the diaper is what the diaper is, to be honest with you. It's going to be full a lot. But the things that I'm most concerned about is making sure that he is getting the sleep that he needs and he's getting the nutrition that he needs. So I figured out that those are the two things that I really want to track for him. Like I said, I'm not really caring about pumping because as long as I am pumping enough, which right now I am currently overproducing, then I'm not worried about how much I am pumping. I just want to make sure that he is getting the nutrition that he needs in this life to survive. So as long as bottles are being made for the amount that he is eating, if for whatever reason that changes, that like I end up not producing as much, then I will change that and I will track something different later. But right now, that seems to be fine. So I think that's kind of where I'm at is, okay, is he sleeping enough? And is there enough food for him? So those are the two things that I think I'm going to track. And then I think I'm going to include a section that has like what the average is, and then like what the newborn average is versus what he's eating. So that's my thought process. Okay, so I don't know what I filmed and when. Life is a little chaotic for me right now, so I basically filmed a bunch of stuff over the past couple of days, trying to get everything together for prepping in January. Because I have so many visitors right now, it is a little bit difficult. So, and then of course, newborn life. So I have January. I put in a bunch of stuff on my calendar, including some birthdays and things like that. I haven't touched my goals, mostly because I haven't really thought about goals in January. Again, I think I'm mostly going to be survival mode at that point, but I will start working again starting on January 7th. So I think some of my goals are going to be related to basically catching up with work. I mentioned this before, but I have too many boxes, so I'm probably going to do some doodles in the rest of these boxes because I'm not going to white them out. That just seems silly. So I'm just probably going to do some doodles in here. Maybe I'll do like a week-long doodle challenge or something like that, that I will do in there. So that is my calendar. Again, I'm really just not ready to set up my goals yet. So we'll see. I have filled out my habits. So we have the key over here. This is a new habit tracker for me. I haven't really done one like this before. Before I was doing the individual habit trackers like this. And this has typically worked for me in the past, but I've been doing an entire year of this, so I'm really, really over it. So I decided to do a habit tracker like this. So I have strength training. Again, I won't really be able to do strength training at the beginning of the month, but I'm hoping like about halfway through the month, I will be able to strength train again. It's going to kind of depend on how my recovery is going, things like that. I have talked to my husband, who is a personal trainer, and I did kind of talk to him about, okay, what sort of things can I do that's maybe in a sitting capacity that I don't fully engage my core? If I do some lighter weight or some resistance bands, can that help? So we've kind of been talking about that at the moment, but we are waiting for me to mostly be pain-free, and I'm not at that point yet. I do have walking here. Again, it's going to kind of be play by ear depending on how things are going. Again, this is still pretty early in December. Right now I'm at December 13th. I don't know when I started this video, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure at what point will I be able to walk like around the block again. So we're going to see. I do want to do yoga, and I do think I can do that mostly safely. So I would like to start yoga again as soon as possible, but of course this is for January. I want to start doing my skincare routine, especially right now. I do feel it because we are getting into winter. The heat is on all the time in the house, and man, has it not been fun. My skin feels so dry, so crackly. I hate it. Sleep, I have this set at sleep 5+ hours. Again, newborn life, all the things. I'm not tracking my sleep. I am tracking Bryson's sleep. So for me in particular, I'm going to have to kind of basically guesstimate if I'm getting 5 hours. Because I do try to take naps during the day, but again, I will be returning to work. So taking naps during the day not going to be quite as easy once I am working again. So I'm thinking 5 hours is probably about a baseline of like good and bad. And of course, I have my husband to help me. So we have been sharing duties at night. And again, he's going back to work starting next week in December, and I'm starting in January. So, of course, I'm going to take a little bit more of the brunt of it when he's transitioning to work. And then, like, we've kind of already talked about how we're going to split up shifts and stuff like that overnight. Steps, I have, if it's over or under 5,000 steps. Right now, my best days are probably at about 3,000 steps. And that's me just doing stuff around the house and not, or like me walking down to the mailbox or like things like that. Like I'm not actively walking, and I'm getting about 3,000. So I think 5,000 is a pretty good area to shoot for. If I start walking the dogs more, that's going to be fairly easy. So I do want to make sure that I'm doing maybe a little bit more, even if I'm doing like very slow on the walking pad while I'm working. I would like to try to incorporate that also. I have YouTube video development. Again, I want to get back into YouTube. I took basically an entire year off. I did a lot of work to get to a place where I could do Vlogmas. And so I would like to keep up doing something like that in January. Not, of course, Vlogmas levels, but maybe doing a video or two a week. We're just going to have to see how things are going, especially once I return to work. The next one is post to social media. People talked about this right after I did my postpartum video. I recorded that before they came out with the final thing for TikTok. And so I know that there's some limitations regarding TikTok and its future. So I just put post to social media instead of being very specific to TikTok versus Instagram. We'll see. And then the last one I have is clean something. I mostly mean I want to clean a little bit every day, and that is the goal, is not to have the entire house go to poopy. I would like to clean a little bit every day. So then I have this habit tracker set up here, and then I have a section for totals, which is not something I've done before, but I want to kind of get a look at what and how much of each of these habits that I have been doing, and getting a total look at how many days in a month that I've done that task will be helpful. I did start the brain dump a little bit. So I have my home tasks over here. I have my business tasks here. I didn't update this one because I don't know how much I'm going to do by the end of December. So I don't want to put in February coloring sheets if I've completed February coloring sheets already. So that is going to stay blank. At some point, I would like to put what the video list is, and how many videos that I'm shooting for in January. I think maybe I'll try to start a little bit slower and do 4 videos in the month. Well, maybe if I release them on Fridays, so maybe 5 videos in the month of January. And then work. Of course, I did not fill that out because I am not back at work, and I have no clue what I am going to walk back into, to be quite frank with you. The Spark list, we've talked about that. And then this is what I've set up since. So I did Bryson's sleep statistics and feeding statistics. And then I messed up down here because of course I did. So these are the 2 that I know I want to track. I might take some room off of the edge of each of these and put maybe like a bath time or tummy time. I'm not really sure how this page is going to go. Again, this is brand new to me. I wanted it to be different than the one that I currently have because I don't think that this is super helpful for me But I do want to see what his trends are regarding how much he's eating and how much he's sleeping. Because I know his wake windows will eventually start to grow. He is going to need more food soon. So I do want to track that in here. But then again, there are some other useful things like tummy time and like reading and things like that I'm thinking about. And then I couldn't really think of another page, and it had been so long since I did a quote page. So I included this one, "For One So Small, You Seem So Strong." It's one of the first songs that he has listened to outside of the womb. It was our only night in the hospital. And that was one of the first songs we played for him to try to get him soothed because he was having a hard time his first night. So I just thought that was kind of nice to memorialize that it was like, a big moment for us as parents for his first night. And then I'm thinking here, I don't like setting up weeklies anymore. I do have these sticker kits that I made. So I will probably be using these stickers for the headers, but I'm not setting up weeklies still. I truly like doing dailies where I just put in the header for the day and then the task list, and then the next thing I move on is to the next one. I don't really care if there's equidistance, if all of the sections end up different sizes and things like that. I really have been enjoying daily pages, so I'm going to continue doing daily pages in January. So that's what I've got in this migration. I will be doing decoration on these pages and then working the dailies around the decoration, because like I said, one of the things about doing all the washi tape is that it has not really provided me a creative outlet, and I have been missing that creative outlet. So I would like to keep drawing on these pages. So that is the goal there. I could do some washi tape in terms of the waterfall tabs, because I have been enjoying those too. The only problem is all of my washi tape on these kits are sized for an A5. This is a B5, but I can put them next to each other. So like I could do this one like this, and then put the next washi tape. But there is going to be, like, you will see the line, if that makes sense. So I can do this, and then you can obviously see those are two different washi tapes. So I don't think I want to do that at this point. Because one of the things I do like is that it's cohesive when you do one washi tape for the waterfall tabs. So I'm going to have to play around and see what I want to do regarding that. Again, I did just do an entire year of washi tapes, and so I don't know if I want to like go ham, even though these aren't really washi tapes, they're stickers. I don't think I want to go ham on that concept at all. Just because I want to get away from that. I want to draw. It's one of the things I want to do. So that's what I've got. That's my whole migration video. I know it's not a great migration video because I literally have it's too early to do a migration video, and I have literally no idea what I am walking into with this migration, because I don't know stuff for work. I don't know how I want to track things for Bryson. So I am a little flustered, perplexed, but we will get through it. And I'm using these first few months as a catalyst for figuring out what works. And that's honestly one of the things that I wanted to bring forward in this migration video. Is a lot of times in my past videos, I have known what has worked and what hasn't worked for a very long time, because I have been bullet journaling for a very long time. And a lot of the stuff that I've been bullet journaling about is, to be quite frank, very much the same. A lot of work that I've been doing over the past 8 years of bullet journaling has been the same. So for me now, this is like a whole new start to my life. So it's a lot of trial and error. And again, that is one of the things that I have always loved about bullet journaling, is trial and error, figuring out what works for you and being able to manipulate spreads to make them work for you. So that is where I'm at in my bullet journaling. Is we're not all there. We're not quite there. But I'm not, it's actually one of the things that I have often loved about bullet journaling, is getting to experiment. So it's actually kind of exciting to be able to experiment again. It's just also a little panic inducing, because I need my brain to work correctly. And if I don't find spreads that work correctly, that's going to be hard for me. But at the same time, like, we're in survival mode. That is just what we're in right now. So, and we're going to continue in that mode. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular migration video. So, and then there's nothing else I can fill out now, I'm pretty sure, because we obviously are not in 2025 yet, so I can't fill out any of those. All of this is figured out. I do already have a date for his first appointment, which is on the 6th. So I can put that in, but I don't know what color code I'm going to do here. Because before I was doing rainbow, but that doesn't fit the vibes. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing color-wise for here. But I will put in Bryson's doctor's appointment here. And then again, I can't fill this out till January 1st. So I won't do body stats. Finances, obviously we are not in January. And then I'm just not even close to ready to try to figure out budgeting wise, because really budgeting wise, I am not doing it necessarily a budget here. I am going to be putting like, okay, essential expenses, things that we have to pay, car payment, mortgage, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm putting our budget into categories, and then putting like average costs for how much we are spending on groceries and things like that. So it's more of, hey, what does life look like us right now money wise? And then what can we do from there? So the budget isn't necessarily a budget. It's more of like, what scope are we working within at the moment? And then again, I have some pages just in case I come up with something else. And then we start January. So that is what I've got for you all for this migration video. I hope that this video is fun. I hope that you are enjoying your time with Vlogmas. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.